Hey everyone, good afternoon. It's Monday, and boy, has the week begun. Those of you that have had a thought we had a sort of a quiet weekend, I warned you there was a lot coming this week, and Donald Trump has started off with a bang. Um, Currently, please do me a favor. I'm not going to be able to do this long today because there's a lot of breaking news, a lot of things there going on, and I'm going to be going live today throughout the day. I'm going to be writing Substack letters throughout the day, so make sure you set your alarms because there's a lot of things happening, from what's happening here in the United States to what's going on overseas in Ukraine and Russia, to what's going to take place in Alaska. For those of you that did not get a chance to, make sure go read my Substack email that I wrote this morning, because one of the reasons that we're here is not because of an idea Donald Trump had, but because of a now masterminding that Vladimir Putin has just jumped into the mix. So there's a lot going on, but I want to start off before we get started. Before we go into all the breaking news, because right now he just finished an hour-long press conference. And folks, the things that I've been telling you all screaming at the top of my lungs, and now and it's important because we're going to talk about later on today how we're going to try to save this. But at the top of my election reform, I told you. Remember when he had the troops in Los Angeles? That it's just the beginning. He is setting up. He's going to have troops going, and today here we are. Now he's taken over Washington D.C. He said it out loud that this is just the beginning. He's going to go into New York and Chicago next. And the biggest question that I'm going to say to you, because all of you that subscribe to me, all of you that follow me, all of you watch me, you're a lot smarter than the most of the media and the pundits out there, because it's not what they're reporting. Keep your eye on the ball. Ask yourself this question: why today? Why did Donald Trump decide, as the president of the United States, with all that's going on in the world, he's planning to go right now overseas to do a huge, peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. He's dealing with all of this tariffs and negotiation. And today, of all days, he just stops and says, "You know what? We're going to send in the National Guard." Always got to think to yourself, why is that? But let's stop for 1 second, because I'd like to rewind it. Let's rewind it and see where we were 72 hours ago and where we are now, and what is happening, because that's extremely, extremely important to understand how we could be able to, what our next step should be to be able to proceed, because we have to understand where we are. Because right now there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of craziness going on. And that's what, after this press conference, I can't even imagine what the media, the pundits all over the social media are going to be run with, because there's so many press releases. It's crazy. But I need you to take a deep breath. I need you to sit back for a second and think what really is happening. 72 hours ago, Donald Trump, we were nearing, this was a Thursday, maybe even a little longer than 72 hours ago. Donald Trump was nearing a deadline with Russia that he set, that if Russia was not going to stop the war and come to some sort of ceasefire, he's going to levy major, serious sanctions, secondary tariffs, and all kind of stuff to be able to be tough on Russia. Then, simultaneously at this time, I broke a story here at Lev Remembers, if you guys remember, about the Vice President J.D. Vance, that he was planning on having dinner with Susie Wiles, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and Todd Blanche, to go over the narrative about, the Maxwell files, the Epstein files, the Maxwell narrative. All of a sudden, the media picked it up. They broke it. They confronted J.D. Vance, and they stopped. They said they didn't have that meeting, and as I reported to you, instead they had a meeting in the White House. But what the media never spoke about, and what I'm asking you, make sure keep your eye on the ball, because this is the one thing that is Dan Bongino. He was not at that meeting, and my sources very closely told me that part of that whole meeting is Jan Bongino, because he's the loose link right now in Trump's orbit that is not fully on board with this whole cover-up, Epstein rewrite of history. So Trump was mad as hell. He didn't know what to do. And this is like a movie you gotta watch, because there's a lot of moving parts. While this is happening here in the United States, Steve Witkoff, his trusted aide, not Marco Rubio, not the people that were appointed by the Senate and Congress to be there. No, but Steve Witkoff, who has now met with Vladimir Putin 5 times, folks. 5 times. I think that's a not world record. I mean, I don't know anybody. If somebody please show me a statistic where somebody has met with Vladimir Putin 5 times, and I don't think his own family's ever met with him. His own bodyguards probably changed so often. I just it's 5 times in the past 6 months. And while Witkoff was at this meeting, because remember, right before this, there was this whole thing, Trump sending nuclear submarines. All of a sudden, again, distraction, distraction, distraction. Something comes out of that meeting, a phone call from Witkoff to Trump, and says, "I got it for you, boss." And I broke that to you today. For those of you who didn't read it, make sure you go read my Substack this morning. Basically, at the meeting, what my sources are telling me, supposedly that Vladimir Putin himself told Steve Witkoff, says, "Tell Donald that I have a way to stop this craziness. What the media is doing, I know he's having issues over there, and I know this needs to be done." But because Putin needed this for 2 things. You might say to yourself, why is Putin all of a sudden trying to help Trump? Because Putin's economy is going to shit, folks. Putin needs to figure out how to stop this war and retain what he has won, take a deep breath, take some time to regroup so he could take over the rest. That is what Putin is trying to do. He's buying time. And he's manipulating this whole thing because he sees that what Trump needs and he's giving it to him. So he told Witkoff to tell him, and Trump today confirmed it. Just now, literally, he said, "I got a call from Vladimir Putin that he wants to meet." Right before the tariffs and these things, all of these things that were supposed to happen come out, all of a sudden now there's a meeting. Now all of a sudden, but part of that meeting, I'm saying to you, who's not there? Vladimir Zelensky. The country, the president of the country that supposedly is part of this whole thing that is not even there. And today Trump made fun of that, saying, he's had 3.5 years to speak to Putin. Just think about the lunacy this crazy man is saying. He had 3.5 years to speak to Putin. I don't think you need him there. I'm going to handle it. And why is he saying it? Because over the weekend, they sent out a leak, a press leak, to again have the media chase it. Breaking news. The White House is saying that they might want to have Vladimir Zelensky at the meeting. Bullshit. That was a lie. That was a trick. Again, the media chased it like a dog following, that little bone. Zelensky, Putin's was never planning on meeting with Zelensky. Trump was never going to invite him. And today, Trump said it today out loud. So let's remember where we were 72 hours ago, Thursday, right before the weekend, right before Friday. And then all of a sudden, what happens? Trump's announced the big one, what Vladimir gave him, the big present. We're going to have a meeting. We're going to have a meeting in Alaska, of all places. And today, Trump even let it slip, saying, Putin invited me to meet with them. Like, he forgot that Alaska is part of America, but if, God forbid, Biden would have, or anybody else would have said, we would have been talking about it all day. But if you take a listen to Trump's, if you guys have time, and I might even clip it and put it in my Substack later on for you to take a look, to really understand, to see the idiocy of the way he was explaining things and talking about things, you understand. So now here we are, 72 hours later. Trump is going to Alaska to meet with Putin. Now today he has confirmed that this is just a feel-out meeting, like Trump said. He's going there to feel out. He has confirmed 2 very important things. He said the quiet thing out loud, that either Zelensky is going to jump on board and do land swap or whatever, a deal that Putin has put in front of him that we've reported on, basically keeping all of the land that they have, or Trump is going to go walk away. But the interesting part is, if you listen to his words very carefully, he says, I will walk away and say, good luck, Vlad. Good luck, Vlad. He's wishing Russia good luck if he walks away. Just think about that. He said another very interesting thing that why I want you to understand where these little things to pick up on, because I know him very well, not only him, but I know the players involved, and I could tell the Russian propaganda. I could even tell in what he's telling you the conversations that they're having, because he told you a little story today when he was at this a press conference. He told you a story about how Russia could have taken over Ukraine in 4 days. And the only reason they didn't take over Ukraine in 4 days is that a general made a mistake. That a general made a mistake, and instead of taking the highway, they decided to take the streets or whatever he called it. And because there was heavy rain, the tanks got stuck. And because of that is why Russia did not take over Ukraine in 4 days. And then he added, and this is what you got to understand. He, with a smirk on his face, he said that, by the way, knowing Vlad the way I know him, that general's probably not around anymore. Think about it. Really want you to think about it. I want you to think about the sick bastard that he is and how he's using Ukraine and the people over there while bombs are falling on Ukraine as we speak. While he's sitting there talking about, some javelin missiles that he gave. I was in that White House with him when he didn't even remember he gave him javelin missiles. That statement he's talking about that he gave him javelin missiles when Obama gave him. I was there. Don Trump, go back and look at I'm going to go find this recording that was out there between me and him having dinner where he doesn't even remember giving them javelin missiles. And Don Jr. reminds him and says, "Hey, Dad, you gave him javelin." And he was like, "Oh, yeah, I gave him javelin missiles." He didn't even know where Ukraine was or if they had oil or what's going on. Folks, please make sure if you haven't, go back, find it. It's on the internet. Just Google Lev Parnas conversation with Donald Trump. It's hour and a half. It's all over the place. Make sure you listen to his own words. He's lying, and he's using that word. He didn't even know. And now, so he's telling you that these tanks got stuck in the mud and could have got there for. This is Russian propaganda. This is what Witkoff is telling him. This is why Trump still believes that Russia could take over Ukraine. Because listen to this conversation. He's saying that there's people out there that believe that Putin wants you take over all of Ukraine, and I'm one of them. He's one of them that believes that. He's a sick bastard, folks, and I want you to understand this Alaska meeting is going to be a major shit show. It's going to be a major shit show and a major problem for the United States also, because I'm going to warn you another thing that he mentioned today, which a lot of people don't understand Donald Trump, but I'm going to tell you, and you hear it first, and I'm glad Substack, this is all recorded. And we see the timing of it because all these pundits out there running around taking credit for what we're talking about. So he mentioned Nord Stream 2. Everybody's talking about Trump, Nord Stream. He says he destroyed Nord Stream 2, which he did. But as I've been telling you, and Alexander has been telling you from Voice of Ukraine, we've been telling you for weeks and months that Witkoff and Kirill Dmitriev, through Putin and Trump, are discussing Nord Stream 2. This is their way of controlling Europe with energy. This is why he's already starting to portray it, making it seem like he destroyed it. Listen to his words. He destroyed Nord Stream 2, but then Biden came in and gave it back to them. I'm just telling you, watch that space. It's very important because I'm telling you, these are the conversations they're having. It's all about the money, the power, about what's happening, and it's all has to do with energy. A lot of it, oil, gas. This is what that region is all. This is how Russia controls that power. This is what this fight's about. This is where right now all these minerals and all this is going on, where Russia's taking over and pushing. And the disgusting part today, the way he said it, that Russia took over all of their Ukraine's oceanfront property except for this little town Odessa. Fuck you, Donald Trump. That's where I was born, Odessa. All those people. What do you mean a little town, Odessa? And he took over all 1,000 miles of oceanfront property. Just think about the shit that he says. This idiot. He's a sick idiot. I don't even have any other words for this because after watching what I just watched right now, and I'm going to tell you something else. People talk about mental decline and all. It's not mental decline. I'm convinced. He got the Napoleon complex. It's in his head already. Now, he right now power has gotten to his head to such a degree. This is when that dictatorship. That's why every dictator that we if we go look back at history, they were all senile. They were all crazy. Because when you get to such a powerful where nobody says no and you could just do whatever you want all over the world and everybody kisses your ass, you lose it. He's lost it. And now we're seeing it play out here in the United States, folks. Well, I've been warning you every single day. This is part of his Project 2025. This is part of his election reform. This is part of another thing we're not talking about is the redistricting that's going on in Texas. That the poor Democratic reps are hiding all over the country. That they got the FBI after them. Just think about that. In the meantime, you got Florida writing the same letter trying to redistrict. Indiana, you got it all over the place. It's crazy because that's the whole key. Because there's not going to be any peace deal made in Alaska. So don't waste your time on that. There's going to be a lot coming out of it, but not a peace deal, unfortunately. Keep your eye on the ball because what he's doing is very bad. Just think about, I want to put a quote out there. He said that now in the streets of Washington, D.C., officers will be authorized to do, quote, whatever the hell they want. What? What do you mean, whatever the hell they want? This is the problem. This is the whole problem. It's like we all want a clean Washington, D.C. Nobody wants crime, Donald Trump or, this administration, but he's so creative how he pushes those words and manipulates them. The poor people that are not as tuned as we are. They don't watch it every day. They get the clips over there. Because if you listen to the clip of him, he's talking about, we want to make sure that Washington, D.C. is clean. There's no crime. A clip, that's it. Somebody saw, of course, we all want it. But how are you doing it? By taking away rights, by sending in the troops, I mean, you're lying. We all know you're lying. You don't care about Washington, D.C. being clean. You're doing this because these are test runs. This is part of Stephen Miller, Russell Vaughn. This is part of the test run of what's to come. Because if you can't redistrict, or if all of a sudden California, New York, and Chicago start redistricting and all of a sudden you see you're losing, because that's the next play. I'm telling you, so that's why be prepared. And a lot of you saying, what can we do? What can we do? I'm telling you every day, what can you do? The bigger we get, the louder we get. Just think about what we did 72 hours ago. I want everybody here to stop to think about for a second what we did 72 hours ago. Here on Substack, on Love Remembers, we broke a story about the dinner with J.D. Vance. That story went viral. That story made J.D. Vance and the Oval and made Donald Trump cancel that dinner. That story made them have a dinner. We broke the following day, the next thing that they spoke about, Dan Bongino. What you're seeing happen today play out is because of what we did, because of our voices. Because they need to cover it up, and this is what's happening now. So what you need to do and what you can do and what I'm begging you to do is subscribe. Go get as many people as you can. I mean, hit that reshare button and go all the way down your cell phone to every single person you know. Make sure they're listening to what we're talking, because I'm risking a lot to be able to bring you this information. And so are a lot of people out there. They're doing, when I got my Whistleblowers Award, the one thing I remember saying is growing up in Brooklyn, New York, thinking about whistleblowing or thinking about it would be considered, like Donald Trump would say, being a rat. It would be like, I never could imagine looking up to whistleblowers or thinking that's a proper thing to do. After what I went through and after I literally growing up, I would say, because it doesn't matter how old you are, we all grow up, we learn. After growing up and realizing how hard it is to do what some of these whistleblowers do, to go out there to risk for nothing. Some of these people, they're bringing you this information to you guys so we could go out there and try to do it. They're doing it. They're not getting no fame. They're risking their freedom because they get caught. They're going to prison. These whistleblowers, Donald Trump's trying to catch every single one of them. Every single person that's leaking these stories that are making his life difficult. And that is why it is so important for each and every one of you to do your job. And I'm begging you to go out there and spread the message. You can bring as many people. We need to grow it, and we need as many subscribers as possible. And especially, we need the paid subscribers. We need the contributions. We need all of that because without that, I'm telling you, there's no way to fight that machine. They have all the money, they have all the power, they have everything. The only thing we have going for us is each other. That we have such a, because this is more than just a community. We've turned this into a movement, into a resistance. And that's why I'm telling you, and I'm asking you more than ever right now, for those of you that are jumping in late, I'm going to be putting this out later on. So you'll be able to make sure you rewatch it, make sure you restack it, make sure you resend it, make sure everybody understand that this has begun not only as by putting the military in. He has said it to you right now. New York is next. Chicago's next. Why are they next? Just think about why they're next. Because this is where they're hiding the Democratic reps that are hiding from Texas. It's all part of the game. It's all part of going in. They're taking over control to be able to start doing. And there's a lot more coming. There's a lot more this week. There's a lot of things happening. So I beg of you, please go reshare, restack, send it far and wide. Make sure you do whatever you can to be able to help out. For those of you that are asking, you could contribute to Venmo at Lev-Parnas. I'm also going to set up PayPal. A lot of you don't use Venmo. You keep telling me something else. I'm going to try to do this PayPal. Those of you that could go to LEVREMEMBERS.com, make sure pick up your book. Not so much as that I'm proud of. It's something that I wrote, but something that it's literally a playbook to what's going on. It's the same actors, same players, Ukraine, Russia, same people that I work with, that I dealt with, that I write about and expose that he's dealing with now. Is some of the stuff that he's right now is happening right now. And that's why I tell you, I think it's important. As if you really want to know what's happening, go to LEVREMEMBERS.com and pick up your copy of Shadow Diplomacy. It's there right here because it's literally, you can't make, like I say, you can't make this shit up, folks. So I gotta run. I have a lot. Stay tuned today. It's going to be a busy day. I'll be coming live later on today. I'm also going to go live with Dean Blundell. He's an incredible host from Canada, and there's a lot going on that me and him are going to be breaking. Also, um, uh, I don't want to speak ahead of myself. Just stay tuned. There's things coming soon, and we'll be breaking it here on Love Remembers. And the only way we're going to save our democracy, folks, is by staying together, by speaking up to truth to power, making sure you call your congressmen and senators, keep doing everything we said. When it's time to protest, go out there and protest. And for those of you that can, become paid subscribers. Those of you that can't, I understand it. Do your job, spread the message. But doing nothing is not objective. Everybody could do something. And that's why I ask you, because right now we're living a part of history that our kids, grandkids are going to have to, we're going to leave behind. So right now, this is the resistance. So please stay safe, stay vigilant. God bless each and every one of you. Slava Ukraini. And I'll be back.